So, we're here tonight to talk about living underground. Ugh, right? Who wants to live underground? But here's the thing. These days, everybody wants to live in the city. How many people here don't want to live in a city? All right, all right. So there are quite a few. But experts predict that by 2050, two-thirds of the world's population will live in cities. And of course, that population is experiencing rapid growth. Now, for hundreds of years, cities have been able to expand, to increase in size, to deal with this rise in the number of residents. But in many modern cities, that is no longer possible. The available land is already maxed out. There's simply no room to make the cities any bigger than they already are. Now, stand in the middle of almost any big city and look around, and you will see the first solution that architects developed for this problem. Well, I said look around, but really you have to look up. They built skyscrapers, high buildings that stretch into the sky, full of offices, apartments, hotels, stores, you name it. But many cities are reaching the safe limits of building up. Also, the more high buildings you have, the less light there is for people on the ground. Another thing that has happened through the years is that new buildings have replaced open spaces, green spaces like parks and gardens, all so that more people could come and enjoy less and less open space. Which brings us to a possible new solution: subterranean buildings. Buildings that are completely underground can leave the surface clear for those beautiful parks we were just talking about. We know that it is technologically possible. How do we know this? Because there are several places around the world where this is already happening, and I'm going to share some of them with you right now. The first place we're going to look at is Coober Pedy, Australia. I mention it first because people have been living underground in Coober Pedy for about 100 years already. 80% of the town's residents live underground. Why? Because Coober Pedy is a mining town. So they were very good at digging. And the town is in a very inhospitable location. Temperatures reach 122 degrees Fahrenheit, and all those years ago, the miners realized it was much cooler to be underground. When it's 122 degrees outside, it can be as low as 77 degrees Fahrenheit in your home. Meanwhile, in Mexico City, with its huge population, the problem is not heat, but restrictions on building, limits on what you can and can't build in the historic center of the city. One firm of architects has produced a plan for a 1,000-foot-deep underground pyramid. Yes, a pyramid, like the ones in Egypt. Except, of course, this one is upside down. The building could hold 5,000 people and would receive natural light from a huge glass ceiling. They call it the Earth Scraper. Lastly, I'm going to talk about Singapore. Singapore has a population of 5.5 million in an area of just 275 square miles. Here, architects are considering building an underground science city. The plan is for a 3 million square foot building around 100 to 260 feet underground. It would be home to various science-based industries, and there would be a working population of over 4,000 people. Now, I think this is a great idea because most people don't like the idea of living underground. You know, it's dark, it's wet, horrible things live down there. How do you get out if something goes wrong? Yes, all of that. Well then, let's put the offices and factories underground, and let's continue to live on the surface. That definitely works for me. Thank you.